Hearts have been making more headlines off the pitch than on it. No change there. Manager Paulo Sergio was warned about his behaviour this week, and he has another SFA appointment coming up after this rant at ref Alan Muir last Saturday. Paulo in Paisley this weekend, and Jonathan can tell us how it went.
The afternoon began with a Remembrance Minute silence observed by the 4,771 in attendance at St Mirren Park. On a crisp, cold Paisley afternoon, at least there was plenty of good football to warm the hearts. A 1-2 with Jerwin Tesselar and St Mirren forward Paul McGowan warming the gloves of Hearts keeper Marion Kello. Interesting times these for Hearts boss Paulo Sergio, who was a study of poise and tranquility. In contrast, his goalkeeper Kello would be leaping about all over the place all afternoon to great effect. Graham Carey, the St Mirren player, denied. In the second half, it was the turn of St Mirren keeper Craig Sampson to keep the sheets clean. Egert Jonsson denied a goal bonus here. Gesticulations from Danny Lennon then followed. Not quite sure what they meant, or if this next St Mirren attack was quite what he'd envisaged. Jerwin Tesselar with a depth charge of an up and under that had Kello's palms sweating once again. After a week dominated by ominous off-field headlines about Hearts' finances, at least the fans were getting their money's worth out of this game with plenty of chances created by both sides. Striker Stephen Thompson with the effort off the bar. The former Rangers man hurling himself at Graham Carey's driven ball across the penalty area. It then looked virtually certain Hearts would break the deadlock when David Abua's header was stopped on the line. Egert Jonsson gave the ball an almighty welly, but somehow it stayed out. A quickly taken St Mirren free kick then took Hearts by surprise. Nigel Hasselbank denied by Kello, and the Hearts defenders rallied to prevent any St Mirren player a pot shot at the unguarded net. Back down at the other end, Hearts would have one last attempt to break the St Mirren defences, and we almost got the goal of the season. David Abua with a stupendous effort that smashed back off the post. Interesting times off the field, 0-0 on it, but certainly no one shortchanged in terms of sheer footballing entertainment.
Hearts are still doing their not speaking to the media bit, but that doesn't stop Vladimir Romanov, the owner, continuing to release statements. He's released another one tonight in which he seems to cover all bases, because he says he'll continue to support Hearts financially, but he also adds this little line right at the end of the statement: I now have to consider finding a partner or selling the club. Craig Patterson, should buyers start forming an orderly queue?
I wouldn't have thought so. You know, massive debts, world recession. I think buyers are going to be hard to come by. So the Hearts fans have got to hope he sticks, you know, and keeps backing the club, because it's his backing that have got them, made them the third force in Scottish football. They pay the third best wages, and that's why, you know, they would expect to finish behind Rangers and Celtic every season. But, you know, if he goes, I have no idea what the future is. There was talk of sharing a ground with Edinburgh Rugby out at Sight Hill, things like that. Don't want that. We want the derbies at Tynecastle and Easter Road. I know the Hibs fans will think this is all very amusing, but we need our big clubs flourishing just now. Hearts are definitely one of those clubs, and hopefully they can get over this and get back to just playing the football. But it looks like massive cutbacks, especially in wages, are going to have to be taken by a number of players.